At visittanzania4less.com, we revel in creating unforgettable safari experiences. This journey has been even more rewarding because of you, our valued patrons. Thank you for entrusting us with your adventures. For those still planning, get ready to immerse in the awe-inspiring landscapes of Tanzania at fantastic rates. Visit Tanzania4less.com, where incredible experiences await. We can't wait to guide your journey of a lifetime.
Hello, Muskegon. It is May 17, 2024. Hi, I'm your host, Gregrory T. Roberts of the show, Torn Into, your show for news, information, and more. Let me give me my partner in Christ then. One of the twins, Pastor Melvin C. Burns II. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Gregrory T. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, man. Just getting ready. Just getting excited.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Listen, what's our weather? Oh, now we got to do some housekeeping.
Okay.
If you are driving and you're listening to the radio station, I know we repeat this, but we want you to get a chance to see it. Go to WVS 103.7 The Beat. It repeats itself. The show, or M106. They do repeat themselves. Or you can go to our YouTube page. It's already there. Also, if you are watching, make sure to comment because we have two great guests. And speaking of guests, what is our weather? Also, one other thing, share this to your page. Okay. All right. And so, what's our weather?
Gorgeous weekend ahead for us. Today we have a low 56, high 71. Tomorrow, sunny, low 52, high 76. Turn around again Sunday morning, a low 58 and a high of 77. So it's bright and sunny weekend. Monday, we'll have a high of 80, low of 59, but 30% chance of rain. Tuesday, 50% chance of rain, low 61, high 77. Then Wednesday, 40% chance of rain, low 56. Temperature drops to a high of 68.
All right. You know, in life, there are people that are meant to peck on the ground like with the chickens, and there are people that are meant to soar like the eagles. You have people that are leaders. Gary, I cannot say enough about this guy that we have on. Is a true believer of Muskegon and has done so much. And I've known him for a lot of years, and we'll let you get to know him because nobody knows your journey like you. So put your hands together for Mr. Dave Alexander. How are you doing, sir?
Good to be with you guys.
We are so happy to have you, Dave. How's it going?
It's doing well. I mean, I love summertime. Okay, we just got the boat in, and this weekend coming up, perfect.
Okay, now we got to get this disclaimer. So why don't you give the disclaimer out?
I currently, until June 6th, I'm an employee of the city of Muskegon, but I come here to talk to you guys on my own, as myself, and any of the comments I make are not reflective of the city management, city commissioner, or mayor. So I'm just free to chat as Dave.
And then when you retire, we'll have you back so you can spill your guts.
I'll spill them today if you want me to. But I will come back. I like that.
Other than tell people about who you are and some of your accomplishments.
Well,
I
don't know if there's that many. I've been in Muskegon now for 43 years. This is my adopted hometown. Born and raised in Jackson, Michigan. And after graduating from Jackson Lumen Christi and Jackson Community College, went on to Central Michigan University, fire up chips, and got a degree in 1981, graduated with a degree in journalism and political science, and went out to find my newspaper job. And during my college days back in Jackson, I worked for the Jackson Citizen Patriot, which is one of 8 booth newspapers in the state of Michigan. Wow. And one of those being the Muskegon Chronicle. And I was very fortunate in May of 1981 to get a general assignment reporting job here at the Muskegon Chronicle. And I came in at a very bleak time in our history. I think the unemployment rate at the time I came into town was 21%. And when the guys were out on Seaway Drive with signs, "We'll work for food," they meant it. It was a tough time as the gray iron foundries and our heavy industries were shutting down and shedding off hundreds, if not thousands, a month of high-paid industrial workers. So that's where I came into town at, and I didn't expect to be here forever. I thought I'd be here about 3 years, but 3 has turned into 43 as I retire from the city of Muskegon. I've been working downtown for 43 years and obviously seen a lot, wrote about a lot, and been involved with a lot of what I consider progress in this community.
That's Burns.
Okay, Dave, we met once or twice, but I first encountered you back with the newspaper when you were I think you were the business reporter. When
I was business editor, yep, for 20 plus years at the Chronicle and then M Live.
Okay. Tell folks a little bit about what were some of the highlights of your career at the Chronicle back in those days.
Like I said, we started out low. I mean, this is a boom bust economy that we have had in our history, and it's due to the natural resources that we've exploited, be it the fur traders to the lumber era to the industrial era. I mean, it was beaver pelts, and it was trees, and it was sand. And when they went away, the industries went away, the people stayed, and it was very difficult. And I was coming in at the end of that industrial era, and it was a struggle for the first 20 years or so that I was in town of what we were going to become, how we were going to transition to the next. And I think I would call the next being the quality of life era. And that's built upon still advanced manufacturing is still really critical to the going forth of Muskegon community. Then there's healthcare and tourism and hospitality. And it's those elements that have got us set for a very good recovery out of the industrial era and hopefully for prosperity for many years to come. So, I mean, that's sort of the eras that I worked through. And I like to say when I was downtown manager from about 2016 through about till about 2 years ago, that we are in a historic transformation in our community. And we're seeing it not just on the waterfront and downtown, but within our neighborhoods. And so it's been very heartening to be part of that change. And we've always anticipated a change for the good. And I think the last 4 to 5, 10 years, we've probably seen more progress than I've seen in the first 30 years that I was in town.
You have to, Dave, when you look at downtown, when you look at the city of Muskegon, it has to bring a smile to your face from where it was to where
very much so. And covering that, I mean, I remember coming here in 81, and by 1986, I drew the weekend assignment that covered the 10th year anniversary of the Muskegon Mall. You know, and I didn't have much significance to me because I wasn't here. I didn't see Western Avenue. And folks my age and older love to talk about Western Avenue in its heyday in terms of the lights in the Christmas time, Grossman's, and all of the shops and the theaters that were down there, and the hub of a very successful industrial city. Not very pretty all the time, but we had jobs and people were doing well by their families. And it all went down. It went away. And to see it now come back, I remember when the Muskegon Mall was sold and the mall came down, 2002, 2003. We referred to it in the Muskegon Chronicle newsroom as bombed out Beirut. I mean, it looked that destructive as buildings were coming down. And then we ended up with a sand lot that had 5 buildings sitting in 23 acres. That was our downtown. And it was to the fortitude of our community, both public, private, nonprofit that came together and created what I think is going to be sustainable for decades and generations to come in terms of what's downtown Muskegon. And I'm an urban guy that believes that the urban core sets the stage and really tells the story and provides the support for an overall community. And our community from that downtown is 125,000 people amongst 5 cities and 3 suburban townships. And so as Muskegon downtown goes, Muskegon in Muskegon County goes, and I think it's going in the right direction right now.
Pastor Burns.
Dave, let's talk a little bit about your career at the city of Muskegon and what you've been doing there.
I started out leaving newspapers at probably a good time. I left early retirement in 2015, the end of the year. And at that point in time, the MLive was in a restructuring that I really didn't know the significance of. But I don't know if I would have had a job the first week of 2016, because the job title I had, which was community engagement specialist, as editorial page writer, I did outreach. We dealt with the social media in the market in Muskegon. That went away across the MLive footprint in the state of Michigan. So I don't know where I would have been left if side of the road. I mean, my boss was given a box and she went out on a Wednesday. And I began that week, Monday, as the director of Downtown Muskegon Now, a nonprofit, 100,000 that was receiving money from a brownfield recapture from the city of Muskegon to help out downtown, because the DDA at that time was spending money on bonds that were from the Muskegon Mall era. And until those were paid off, the typical funds that were around to support downtowns like you would see in Grand Rapids, see in Holland, see in Grand Haven weren't there. So it was in a small nonprofit. It was, I say, 15 of my favorite friends representing on my board across the stakeholders of our community. And they, I thank to this day, hired me to take over for Jonathan Seifert, who went on to a city management career and has been come back now as our city manager here in the city of Muskegon. And so I spent that time through 2019 working on economic development, but mainly telling stories still, getting people excited, getting them to the right people in events, promotion, and economic development in our downtown. And I ran the Business Improvement District, which was a self-funded, self-imposed special assessment on the downtown businesses, since we didn't have the DDA, and then was the first DDA director or liaison with the city of Muskegon and the Downtown Development Authority. When in 2017, those bonds were paid off and funds were starting to go towards traditional downtown management. And that continued on when I became a city employee in July of 2019, and was a business development manager for the city. And not only did I work in downtown, but the one that I worked with probably the most outside of the downtown footprint was the Lakeside area, and got a business improvement district in along with Jake Ekholm, our director of developmental services of the city, created what is now a CIA, which is a corridor improvement authority. These are all mechanisms in which to raise some funds specifically geared towards these commercial districts. So it's snow removal, it's landscaping, it's other beautification, it's streetscape, it is putting on events, it is getting out marketing and managing the story of that district, and to be there as support for those businesses to know how to tap into the resources that are available. So that went on till about a year ago, and Contessa Alexander and Jocelyn Hines has taken over as business analysts for the city and have taken on those economic development roles. In my last year at the city, I've been a community engagement specialist, is my title again, which is what I had in the last year at MLive. And with that, I'm working on communication. I'm working on the city's need to become, as the mayor and the commission wants, more transparent, more engaging with its public. And I've been working for Deborah Sweet, and Deborah is the community engagement manager. And I'll be helping her out until the 1st of June.
Dave, how important is, and we ask this question of a lot of people, how important it is to have somebody that's big cheerleader out there pushing the city of Muskegon or the county of Muskegon with other businesses, politicians, pushing it uh, and getting dollars back to make things happen.
Super critical. And people always call up from a small business standpoint. And I did a feature on Facebook page of the city of Muskegon that's been highly read and followed, called Small Business Saturdays. And every other Saturday, I would feature a small business. And I talked to hundreds literally, of small businesses doing stories when I was business editor over the years that I was at MLive and the Chronicle. And all of them, when I got into the role of economic development, is where can I get money? Well, there is no free money. Well, maybe during COVID, some of the federal programs seemed like that, but they're gone away now. We're back to using the limited amount of resources we have locally, and then tapping into those state and federal resources that are out there. And there are a number of, for a number of years, we worked with Muskegon Area First, and Ed Garner was on my board at downtown Muskegon. I was the treasurer of it when I was hired, and worked with them, and now GMED, Greater Muskegon Economic Development, to find those sources to foster. And what I like doing is sitting and finding the story, the entrepreneurial spirit, the spark of what these folks want to do for business, and to encourage them to go find the resources they need, be it legal, be it financial, be it marketing, get the business plans written. I can't write business plans, but I can encourage them to go work with places like the Grand Valley State University's hub here in Muskegon, and other outlets that the Small Business Administration has funded in West Michigan to get business plans written so that one can go to a commercial bank and get funding. And then knowing through the city or the township or wherever else at here in Muskegon County to get the tax incentives that are available. But mainly it's for those who have bricks and mortar. It's not for those who are just starting, maybe moving from the chalets of Western Market in downtown Muskegon into their first bricks and mortar store. You're doing that usually through a lease, and it's with limited resources, but it's through sweat equity that those businesses start to grow, and then hopefully they're on to being able to own their own property and taking their businesses to new heights. So that's been exciting, and it's very important to be encouraging and knowing where you can point them to the services and the resources that are needed to support the development of a small business.
That's perfect.
Dave, is there in your career as a reporter, and we'll talk about the news industry if we get a chance, but is there any particular interview or story that you stand out and you kind of go, I know you have lots of them, probably like your kids, but is there any particular story that kind of stands out you can look at and go?
Oh, over 34 years, there's dozens and dozens of them. Some of them very sad. I mean, very tragic. Luckily, I didn't have to cover a lot of police, courts, crime, and mayhem. But it was something that, from a public image standpoint, was very critical. And I guess as I wear my Watch Us Go shirt here, and that whole aspect that we had a very poor self-image as a community. And even worse than that, our West Michigan brethren didn't have a very high regard for us, and we were sort of the butt of jokes. And we are no longer that. We have taken our stand within the West Michigan market to be a very significant element of it going forward. But so there are stories, and I guess instead of stories, there are personalities that I remember. Let me just give you one. It's maybe one of the most fantastic business stories that developed under our nose, and maybe we really didn't realize it. And that was Roger Jordan and Michigan's Adventure. And here's a guy who, and I'm going to get the numbers a little wrong, but not very, for $175,000 in 1968, bought Deer Park Funland. And by the time he sold it to Cedar Fair, I'm guessing it was the early 2000s, I think he sold it for $28 million. Now, that is a success story, and that is sweat equity.
Yes.
So the family were out there day in, day out during the summertime. They lived on site. The Jordans did. And Camille Jordan Mark continues to this day the legacy of her family and her father, keeping that park going in a corporate sense for Cedar Fair, which is the owner of Cedar Point over in Sandusky, Ohio. They are in a process of a corporate merger, but not really sure about how all that's working out, except that it is underway. But Camille has been there since her father had sold the business and has taken it to new heights under corporate management. And so I think about those kinds of people that have, as the lumber barons did, Hackney and Hume and all those others, have really made a mark on our community. So it's as I think about the stories, I think about the people.
Okay.
What do you see Muskegon heading in the next couple of years?
We're sort of taking a bit of I call it a pause. We can only do so much so fast, and you got to then manage what you've created, and you got to make sure that what you created is sustainable. And I think that is happening downtown. It's happening along the waterfront. We have two right now massive developments underway with Harbor 31, which is on the east side where the Parmer Law offices are at. And we are now putting in Trilogy, which is to open here in the next quarter, I believe, the senior housing center. And all the residential that goes with that. We are in probably the throes of a new hotel on that property before the year's out, construction hopefully beginning. On the other side, you have Adelaide Point, and if it's 130, 140, 150 million on the side of Harbor 31, it's probably 250 million when it's all said and done if they build all of the plans out for Adelaide Point. That is under construction and is being opened up bit by bit. Both of these projects create concern. They create anxiety. They create those who do not want change, those who are not liking the change that is coming. But from a business editor standpoint, we wrote about a lot of plans for downtown and our waterfront and for our community, be it from the racetrack to what may have been happening in the industrial parks or even in Whitehall and Montague. They didn't all happen. Most of them didn't happen. I mean, we were going to have an aquarium downtown. We were going to have a baseball field downtown, a minor league park. We ended up getting a horse race track, but that lasted for about 4 or 5 years. And the horse race industry went south. We've been talking about a casino in this town since I wrote the first casino story in 1992. We haven't got one yet. I'm not real optimistic that we will. But so in the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5, we need to solidify where we're at and continue to build new housing. And that's happening with Shaw Walker building. Hopefully will happen with the Sappy site or Windward Point and with the docks, which is the second half of the Pigeon Hill property in Greg and Mice neighborhood down in the West End. So those are the things that I'm looking for as I hit retirement. We're in Balcomb's Cove. We've gotten my wife and I, Peg, who's retiring after now 42 years of teaching at Muskegon Catholic Central. We will be, we have already moved into since July, retiring into Balcomb's Cove. And I hope to sit and look to the east and watch the whole Sappy site or Windward Point develop over the coming years. So there's a lot of excitement there, but we do need to take a pause, I think, to make sure that we are managing and sustaining what we have built maybe over the last 10 or 15 years.
That's Bert.
I was going to ask you, Dave, does retirement mean full retirement? You got some other plans or?
People keep telling me you're not going to retire. And that is probably the case. Let me just tick off a couple of things that I'll be working on. Number one, I am a proud member of the Muskegon Rotary Club, and our Rotary Club is 250 strong, the largest in our district from Kalamazoo up the west side of the state into the Upper Peninsula and into Canada above Sault Ste. Marie. So that club I will become honored to become president of in July of 2025. I am on the Lakeshore Museum Center board, and we have a very aggressive plan for a $30 million expansion of the History Museum at the corner of 4th and Clay, kitty corner from Hackley Park. And you'll be seeing more about that in the coming year. I have gotten involved as a city guy who's very interested and evolved over the years about Muskegon Lake and boating and marine things, to be a liaison for the group that is we're looking to transition the 2 lighthouses down at Pierre Park to the city of Muskegon. And I'll be part of the nonprofit that will be going forward with that. I'm a volleyball official. That was the last 25 years, my escape from the reality of my job to go hang with my volleyball friends. I'm a college volleyball official up to Division II, which in this area would be Grand Valley State and Ferris, and do also junior college in Division III, which is Hope and Calvin, and MAAA or the NAAA, which is Cornerstone and Aquinas, and those schools over in the Grand Rapids area. And I'll continue being a volleyball official as long as my eyes are good and my back's good enough to stand up there and call a game. So I've got plenty on my platter, probably too much, but my friends who are already retired, which seems to be most all of them, tell you that when you're retired, you can always say no. So
I was just going to say, I was just going to say that, Dave, repeat after me. No. Learn how to use the word no.
I've gotten a couple of those no's out already, and I'm not even retired yet, Greg.
Pastor Burns. Pastor Burns.
Okay. Dave, any concerns? I ain't you catch any concerns you have? You talked about the sustainability of some of the things going on. Any other concerns you think as you're stepping away, sort of stepping away? We'll see where you come back, but any concerns you say, well, I kind of aren't sure how this is going to turn out?
I am concerned about the sustainability of our urban community, our urban neighborhoods. I've gotten to know them over the years as a reporter, but mainly in the last several years through the city of Muskegon, and something we have called NAM, which is the Neighborhood Association of Muskegon. And the city of Muskegon is blessed with 15, 16 active neighborhood associations from east to west. Some are more active than others. Some have more assets than others, but they all are doing their thing in their own way to make it a pleasant and inviting place to live within their neighborhoods. And so we want to continue to see that happening. So within that, in the city of Muskegon, it would be to the need of affordable housing, and we are doing amazing things. We see a lot of the flash and the glitz of some of the developments that we see downtown around the waterfront. The real quiet transformation is happening within the neighborhoods and all the new housing that is going on. And it's called affordable. And I understand that is a term that is to where you're at and what lot in life you have as to what is affordable or what's not. But we are building homes for new construction for families for under $200,000. And they are being put into situations where we are repurposing these neighborhoods where there have been vacant lots, and we're up into the hundreds, 200-300 more coming, and then there are the apartment complexes and the low-income tax credited developments that are happening that are providing hopefully quality places for our people, from getting out of high school, getting your first job, going to college, coming back from military, whatever, through senior life. Hopefully we can house people in ways that everyone can be proud of and happy with as they're living out their lives here in Muskegon. So those are the things that I want to make sure that will continue. And it's not one that I really have a lot of involvement in or had involvement in, but it's one that I watch closely, and I'm very optimistic that we will. But and have another downturn like we had in 2008, where we had the Great Recession, and that was real estate based. I do not want to see us face another one of those anytime soon, because that will put us back in terms of where we're at with housing and properly housing the people of our community, because more and more people are going to be coming here. And it's just not the people who are in Muskegon now, were born and raised here. There are those that were born, raised, left, and are now coming back. And those are just discovering us for the first time. And our population will be on the rise. And we at the city have about 5,700 housing units to do in the next 5 or 6 years. And the city team down at City Hall are working on that. And with the direction, leadership of the city commission and our mayor, hopefully we'll put ourselves in good stead. Some of the concerns I have are just to keep that momentum going, not maybe what we see in the downtown, but what we are slowly seeing block by block, street by street within the urban core of our community.
Before you ride off in the sunset or drop the mic, is there any last things or shout out or things that you want to? Is there anything?
Yeah, really, I want to thank Muskegon first off for accepting Meg and Dave Alexander into their community. I wasn't born here. I never felt like I was an outsider. There are other communities around our county that I was a bureau chief in, that I may have worked there, but I was never felt like I was part of that community. And that was while I was at the Muskegon Chronicle. I've always felt that Muskegon is such a welcoming, warm community. We're contentious. We are blue collar. We are blue collar to our core, which I think is our strength. We're a type of a place that you can get in an argument with somebody, even come to fist blows, but at the end of the day, you slap them on the back and go have a shot and a beer. And that's just the kind of community we are. And that's the one that I felt really comfortable dedicating my career to, and the one that I hope to continue to dedicate my retirement to. So thanks to Muskegon for being open, for all those people that didn't have to talk to me or participate in my stories, but that gave the trust of telling it in a fair and accurate way. You blessed me with able to tell what is happening, the good, bad, and the ugly in this community. And so a big thanks. There's a big well up of gratitude within my wife and myself in terms of what this community has meant to our lives, and hopefully in our small little ways, we've been there to push it forward in a positive way.
Mr. Alexander, I want to thank you. The articles that you wrote and the positive support that you gave me over the years. I want to thank you.
You always were a pretty good story, Greg, you know?
Man, I want to thank you so much. And listen, happy retirement. And don't forget to use that word no.
I hear it. But if you cast me to come back and talk about something, it'll be a yes.
Definitely.
No for everybody. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dave Alexander. Happy retirement, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care.
All right, you too. All right, we're going to go to commercial break. Coming up next is a good friend of mine, my dance partner, and yeah, hopefully we can get that picture. All right, so we'll be back on Tone and 2 on 103.7 The Beat and M106.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically black and proud media, from podcasts to independent black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
And welcome back to Torn Into, your show for news, information, and more. I'm excited to introduce this next guy, Pastor Rodney Savage, and we're going to let him tell his story. Put your hands in the air and wave them like you just. Oh, no, sorry, I got to have a wrong show. Welcome to the stage, Pastor Rodney Savage. How you doing, sir?
Hey, my friends, I'm great, man. I'm great. How are you both doing?
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good. Good. G, man, in it for the swag.
In for the swag.
Dancing with the local stars, man.
Listen, tell the people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about it. We got a lot of things to talk about.
Thank you. Rodney Savage, born and raised in Muskegon Heights. Come up through the 60s and 70s with Dr. Padres and with Mr. Western at there at Muskegon Heights High School. With my big brothers, my mentors. One of them are here today, Melvin Burns, and guys that I could look up to and follow that didn't let me get in too much trouble. They did let me get into some trouble, but not too much trouble. They kept me they kept me on the straight and narrow. Yeah, man, just young brother from Muskegon Heights finding its way, trying to, it's that Pinky in the Brain mantra, that cartoon Pinky in the Brain, trying to take over the world every single day, man, trying to be my best me, leave a legacy in the earth and be a blessing to my community, man. That's Rod Savage, man. And that's who I am. Nothing. I don't want to be braggadocious, but I did have some pretty good moves in that Dancing with the Local Stars, man. We'll talk about.
Yeah, let's get that picture back up. You in the team in it for the swag team 4. There we were, man. Do you find yourself missing those practice days?
Yes.
There we go.
Hey, listen, I had a great time. It was for a great. Oh, there it is, right there. You and that saxophone, man. You blew that saxophone. But I had a great time. It was for a great cause, raising funds for the local food banks, and met some great people, man. And I was a little nervous when it kicked off, and man, do I have the time to do this? Because it was a lot of time, a lot of practices, but it was well worth every practice, well worth all the time, man. I got friends for life with Dancing with the Local Stars.
Yeah, I do too. And we want to thank the radio station was a huge supporter and sponsor of the event. But you are in a new endeavor. Let's get into that and how you got to that position.
Thank you. Yes. So right now I'm in. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm cutting it out, but I can hear you. Yes, man. Right now I'm in Grand Rapids. I'm at downtown Grand Rapids at the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce, the hub of business in Kent County. Excited to be here. Everyone knows I come from nonprofit with an organization, Kids Food Basket. I was very passionate about working there and the work that they were doing and the food equity business, especially for the under-resourced children. I grew up, as one of those under-resourced children, and grateful for everyone who stepped up, all the nonprofits or the organizations that helped out. Remember Mission for Area People back in the day, and all those other places that you could go and get support. So very fond of the organization and the time that I spent there. But when this opportunity opened up, it allowed me to step into a place to have greater influence, to touch more lives, to touch the entire business community as the Vice President of Talent and Inclusion for Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce. And that entails overseeing and providing strategic guidance for all of their leadership program. So Leadership Grand Rapids, which is an amazing program, systems level thinking program to build leaders in the community. And then we have 4 other leadership programs that we offer to our amazing members here in Kent County. But it also covers all of our diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, the internal culture of teaching and training here internally, and shifting that culture to make sure that we are an employee of choice, but also to our business community and their DEI needs as well.
Mr. Burns.
I know that was a mouthful. I know.
Let me
I
ask
know
you,
that was a mouthful.
having known you for a little while, how do you feel like your current role would use a wide range of talents and abilities? I no doubt. And how do you feel like the current position taps into all those talents and abilities you have?
It's a great question. Well, I'm a people person. I fight for the underdog. I want to make sure that all the voices are heard. Everyone has a seat at the table. I want to make sure that that as we move forward from our forefathers of the civil rights movement in the '60s, that we continue to push that rock down the road, make sure that those coming after us have great opportunity and great resources, to jobs, and just to the real American dream for all. So that being who I am, just stepping into this role as a vice president of talent and inclusion gives me that opportunity to level up individuals in their career, in their professional development, in their talent, and helping organizations in their talent development to bring them up, to help them grow, help women in our women in leadership. It helps the women break that glass ceiling. Women have always been tremendous supporters of men in our careers, and now I get a chance to turn around. And Melvin, my big mama Florine Davis and my mother, so I am a champion of women. So we've got great women programs, so I can be an advocate for them. And so really from my pastoral role of really teaching, I was really a teacher more. Melvin, you were a preacher. I was really a teacher. So my whole idea, if I can get them to understand, to grasp a concept, a precept, a principle, to apply it to their lives, to show up better in different spaces. Well, that's what I get to do for the entire Kent County and West Michigan now, in talent and leadership development. And then, as I talked about earlier, in that equity space, that inclusion space, and that belonging space, creating room for everyone at the table so everyone can everyone can feel seen, valued, and heard. So it kind of extends to who I was growing up in 2532 Jefferson in Muskegon Heights, and Melvin, around you in 2021 Howell Street when I was over there with Big Mama. It's just who I've been and who she's raised me to be and who the community raised me to be.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the transferable skills that, being a pastor, working for the food business that you were in. Yeah. Talk about those transferable skills that you're bringing over to the new job.
That's great. Man, when you're a pastor, it humbles you real fast. You come in ready to change the world, and ready to lead, and you understand that it's a different type of leadership. It really opens your eyes to servant leadership, where you're the one that's actually serving. You're not leading like you thought. You're not leading like you're the quarterback on a football team or you're the point guard on a basketball team. It's a different type of leadership. It's with humility, it's with empathy, it's with compassion, because you see the need. The need comes to you. You see the pain. You see where folks struggle with. You see the hurt, and so those transferable skills of operating with empathy and compassion, active listening, and not waiting to tell them or provide your solution or your thoughts or your critique, but active listening. That transferred into Kids Food Basket because active listening was very important. And when you even serving 10,000 meals every day to under-resourced children, you have to do that in a very empathetic and compassionate way, in a very equitable way. So you have to have a lens of equality, of fairness, of justice, and that I learned from the church, that I learned from pastoring, that I brought over to Kids Food Basket. And then it also helps me in this role, at the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce, because leadership is really about serving. John Maxwell said it well. If you're a leader and nobody's following you, you're just taking a walk. And so you have to understand you can't get too far ahead of people, or you leave them, you disconnect from them, but you have to stay close enough to them for them to be able to touch you and hear you and I don't know, I want to say feel you, but to really understand you. So those from pastoring to my role as director of engagement, equity and inclusion at Kids Food Basket, to this role as vice president of talent and inclusion, it's been an easy transition.
When you were young, did you see yourself in this kind of a role, or what did you see yourself back in the day?
I think I saw myself as a starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers is how I saw myself. But that didn't come to fruition because I know, yeah, right. You can answer that question. So, I thought I was pretty gifted when it came to sports. But as we grow, as many of our black and brown boys grow, you realize that you've got other talents in bouncing a ball or passing, throwing a football. So, really, man, for those that don't know me, and I talked to my mom, and she's told me, man, since you were 3-4 years old, you always took the lead. You didn't want to follow. I mean, you always thought you had the best ideas. You always wanted to take the risk. But I'm the oldest of four children, and so that leadership was always in me. I didn't run from it. In junior high and high school, taking risk, learning the world, you get yourself in trouble and you get some of your friends in trouble, but you learn to grow through that. You learn to grow through that and make better decisions as you get older. But yeah, G-Man, I knew that leadership ability was in me. I believed it. And then getting into church and building my faith and really, trusting that no matter what happens in life, you can bounce back. Getting that mindset that nothing can stop you as long as you got God on your side, even your own insecurities, even your own fears, even imposter syndrome and all the thoughts that come into your head, just learning to push past them and not even let you stop you. Just push into purpose, push into your destiny, push into your, your assignment, man. So that's kind of how I lived my life, on the edge right there, challenging myself to stay out of my comfort zone. When I'm in my comfort zone, I'm in a bad place. I've got to get out of that comfort zone. So, but that's been me. If you talk to my mom, my teachers, and E. Grace Loftus, or the Muskegon Heights Middle School, or even Muskegon Heights High School, they would say, we either knew he was going to be great or he was going to jail. It was going to be one of them. He was going to leave. He was going to do one of them.
Either way, it's going to read out of her.
Either way, he's going to leave somebody somewhere.
That's Burns.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, just going back a little bit. What do you feel like, you really made an imprint with Kids Food Basket here in Muskegon. What do you feel like your legacy as you left that organization was?
I think that's a great question. I think I left a legacy of positivity. It was a culture shift to where I brought a lens of equity. I brought a lens of empathy, a framework for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a strategy with action steps and metrics that they're operating off of right now. I also created a framework for their community engagement strategy County, in Muskegon County, and in Ottawa and Allegan County, so in 4 counties. And I was executing that when I was there as well. But just laying that foundation for them to continue to do good work. It's a great organization. I will always be a champion of Kids Food Basket and the leadership of Bridget Clark Whitney over there and their leadership team. But I think I left a legacy of understanding, helping them understand that those 10,000 sack suppers are going to 10,000 children, and connecting that humanity to that work, and connecting the true mission and the true purpose behind that work, and even helping them understand the historic systemic causes of food inequity and food insecurity in our country regarding Black and Brown communities and under-resourced communities. So I think helping tie that work into that mission.
I know that you just took this job and you just ran with it. What are some of the things that you want to see happen in your tenure with the chamber?
Well, I'm excited to be at the Grand Rapids Chamber. They have an excellent leadership team. I'm a part of that. I'm a part of their executive leadership team. The president, Rick Baker, is an amazing person. So much potential here. But I think in two spaces, in the talent and leadership space, we have amazing leadership programs. I hope to elevate programs. I hope to scale those programs, take them to the next level. And when it comes to the diversity, equity, inclusion work, we're working with Grand Valley right now to update, revamp, and I don't know if maybe you all have went through the Institute for Healing Racism. You guys are aware of Institute for Healing Racism. So I went back through Institute for Healing Racism, maybe 2000, 2001, 2002, but we're revamping that curriculum, PowerPoints, the visuals, and we're going to relaunch that in the fall. So that's a heavy lift. That's what I'm really working on right now, as well as finishing up Leadership Grand Rapids and getting ready for the next class. But just working on having a positive impact on from the chamber touches so many people, so many businesses, so many nonprofits, so many for-profit businesses, and so many people. I think just being able to level up our leadership programming. And also, I want to mention, we also have 3 affinity groups. And so not only do we have the leadership programming, but we have 3 affinity groups. So we have Athena, which is really for women, an affinity group for women, that support, that safe place. We also have Latina Connect, which is a safe place for our Hispanic, our Latina community. And then we have our Outro, which is our LGBTQ plus community. So they'll have a safe place to come and share and grow. And so just, man, I'm for humanity, man. Martin Luther King said, I'm stick with love because hate is just too heavy of a burden to bear. So, right. So for me, just the impact of love, kindness, of empathy in everything that I touch now.
That's right.
Well, in the climate today, when people are steering away from DEI, how refreshing is it to be in an organization that's embracing that direction?
Yes, man. There's much pushback in that area of DEI. It's refreshing that the conversation continues to go. I'm at the chamber. I'm at an organization where we're leaning in instead of leaning out. Many organizations and many communities they're stepping back away from it. But I don't think they fully understand and fully embrace what it can do for the organization when you have diverse minds and perspectives at the table. It's a greater ROI. It's a greater return on your investment. It's a greater market. It's a greater sharper ideas, and you increase your market share if in your service or in your products. And so I just think they're unaware. But I'm so thankful to be at an organization. I searched that out. That's what I'm looking for. I'm searching out places that we can continue to move that conversation forward. It's dirty work. It can be, I like to say, I call people in instead of calling people out. So anytime there's pressure, anytime there's contention, I want to call you and I want to ask more questions. And when that happens, we can find a place to agree. It's my coffee, carrots, and eggs. Coffee, carrots, and eggs. When you apply heat to carrots, they get soft. Mm-hmm. When you apply heat to eggs, they get hard. Mm-hmm. Apply heat to coffee, there's an aroma that fills the room. And so I try to say that we need to be like coffee beans. We don't need to be like carrots and soft and back down. We don't need to be like eggs and get hard and get rigid. We need to be like coffee and allow an aroma of compassion, empathy, and love and kindness and curiosity to fill the room so we can continue. I probably got to copyright that. I take that, get that out of here. I probably got to copyright that before I put that out here to everybody.
I was going to say pass the plate because he's preaching good. Now you better say that for a sermon.
You might hit that this Sunday in the building.
I was just thinking, I got some sharp brothers right here. They're probably gonna use that now.
It's already copyrighted.
No, but I'll shout out.
right.
I think I heard my friend. I don't know if he listens to this, but I heard my friend. He's a DEI practitioner here in Kent County. He did some work in Muskegon with Goodwill. Julian Newman, and an amazing mind and in the DEI space. We got first heard that from him as well. But I too.
All right. Let's see. It's 2:58. We have just a few minutes left. Talk to those young people out there, those people out there that are maybe have aspirations, but not willing to come out of their comfort zone.
That are in their comfort zone. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, they're afraid to come out of their comfort zone. They want to stay put.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. I was reading something today that I'm going to glance and see if I can see it. It was a great. Oh, it's right here. Just let me read this real quick. So a wise man once said, laziness kills ambition, jealousy kills peace, anger kills wisdom, and fear kills dreams.
Wow.
The fear of getting out of your comfort zone will kill your dreams. And so you've got to live outside your comfort zone. That's where change, that's where transformation comes. That's where metamorphosis, that's where you grow outside of your comfort zone. I'm sure the caterpillar would love to stay a caterpillar, but that's not where the beauty, that's not where the butterfly comes from. Butterfly comes from the metamorphosis. It comes from change. It comes from getting out of who you were and becoming who you were created to be. And so I would tell everyone, don't fear it, embrace it, and embrace that challenge, embrace that fear. That's what my 11 weeks at MCRD in San Diego at the Marine Corps boot camp. Now, it's a 12-week program to graduate. I only did 11 weeks, but that's what 11 weeks taught me to embrace your fear, man. And I think, Melvin, really, I think all I needed was I needed the lessons. I needed to be taught how they think. I need to be taught that this. That's what I didn't really need a career as a Marine. I just needed coming from the hikes, coming from where I came from, really not meeting my dad till I was in my teenage years, being raised by my mother, my grandmother. I needed boot camp. I thank God for all the coaches, Mr. Burt, man, and Lee Gilbert and Mr. Metcalf and all the coaches that we had. But I know that 11 weeks of Marine Corps boot camp taught me how to change the way I think, change the way I see the world, change the way how I see my comfort zone and how I deal with fear. Everything that I did for 11 weeks, I had to embrace fear, from shooting weapons to learning how to swim. I'll tell you that story one day. They taught me how to swim in 3 days by pushing me in the deep end. I can keep me to the bottom of the pool. But so they taught you to deal with your fears and compartmentalize your fear so you can still function, so you can still think, so you can still strategize, so you can still find solutions. So, since I was young, that's who I've become. When I see challenge, when I see fear, I embrace it. I lean into it because it's a lesson on the other side. It's a lesson when you come through that fear. And then there's a broader space. There's an enlargement that comes on the other side of breaking through those barriers of fear and getting out of your comfort zone. So I would just encourage them to, number one, get around people who think differently than you think. Because if you stay around people in that comfort zone, then you're going to stay there. Get around people that will challenge you. Ask you, what are you doing? What are you reading? What are you working on? What are your plans for the next 4 or 5 years? You got to get around people that will challenge you and motivate you and inspire you to change. If not, if you don't have that internal thing, because some people have it internal, some people it's just in them. It's just in them. And I think I was, when my mom, she tells me it was just in you, I saw you just were not going to be, you were not going to be told no. You were not going to be all right. You're just not going to be all right. You wanted to be the star. You wanted to be the lead actor. You wanted to be the quarterback. You wanted to be the point guard. This is just who you were. And so that's just my nature. But if that's not your nature, you got to find people that can help you get there. And there are people in our community. There are people that can mentor you or programs. Chauncey, I know those guys. Rodney Walker. We have guys in our community, and even for women, we've got great people in our community that can help you, that can challenge you, but you've got to want more. It's got to be on the inside of you. It's got to be something that says, I want more. Because if you don't want more, you'll be satisfied with what you have, and you just be all right with what you have, even though it's small, even though it's not enough, even though it's lack, even though it's dry. You'll just be all right with it. And I just made up my mind. I want more. I want more. Not because I'm greedy, but because my Heavenly Father owns all of this. I want more. I want to experience it all. I want to live in the morning and experience all He has for me.
Pastor Rodney Savage, we're going to have you back on again, okay?
All right, man. Anytime, just give me a call. I'll make time for you, man. You guys are my brothers. I appreciate you.
All right, we appreciate you too. Take care and God bless, sir.
Take care, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, I get them all. Sorry. Listen, we're at 3 or 4. We're over our time today. Listen, I wanted 2 things. Go out and sow a seed in somebody's life. We say that every week because we mean that. Go and touch somebody's life. But the second thing that I wanted to, you hear construction noise in the background. Streets, the whole neighborhood is being redone. Is it a possibility why this neighborhood was picked because it's like the #1 voting precinct? It's Joe Biden. It's a Joe Biden president. The new construction. It's a project. Could it be that this area was picked because they vote heavy? Just something for you to think about. Pastor Burns, anything else you want to say?
It's a beautiful weekend. Get some fresh air, get some exercise, enjoy it, go to church Sunday, and enjoy your life.
All right. You've been watching and listening to 22. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care and God bless.
Be blessed.